AI. This is IoT, but then there's the AI aspect where you infuse like it learns your gameplay and then plays with you. So
Mm.
yeah. So I wanted to infuse it so that at least when we're talking about it, you can also
I'm
mention that
scared of the
yeah.
world right now. The world is scaring me.
Smooth, refreshing music for everything business. Get tools to help you become a successful entrepreneur. This is Business Hub.
Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. 90 minutes past 5 p.m. This is the Smooth Drive. My name is Ayoko Mikekireko, and it's that time to get into the world of business on a business hub. And like I said earlier, we're going to be having a fun discussion this evening because we're talking about the gaming business in Nigeria. Well, in the tight economic conditions, but there is always opportunity. And we're going to be having this conversation this evening. And joining me to have this discussion to break it all down and give us a lot of fun insights is Suzan Adinoyi. She is the founder and CEO of Zannoza Entertainment Limited. Very good evening to you, Susan.
Thank you.
Great to have you on Business Hub.
Great to be here.
Well, I mean, my happiness is deeply rooted in the fact that I love games. Well, video games more than board games and stuff, but games are games at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And having you here to talk about this is going to be an eye-opening one, not just for me, but for everyone who is listening. And for you listening out there, you can be part of the conversation as always by sending your messages in your thoughts on WhatsApp. 0809 981 is the WhatsApp number. We're also streaming live on YouTube at Smooth 981 FM Lagos. You can join the live stream as well. All right, Susan, let's start from here. Now, considering the economic situation in the country, I mean, we have to talk about that. Are Nigerians in the mood to actually play games?
The answer is yes.
Huh.
Yes. And the reason is it's a coping mechanism, right? Everyone plays games and they get into character. You feel like, from if you were playing Call of Duty, for example, right?
Mm-hmm,
You probably are not going to war, right? But just the fact that you tend to get into character and just get into a different world,
right,
get
right,
stoked into
right.
a different realm, and just forget your stress, right? It's one of the reasons why gaming is like the biggest form of entertainment, at the moment, and also the fact that games allows you to build social connection with people, whether it's virtually or physically. And there's also the affordability part, which I mean, of course, we know that consoles are expensive, but there are
Mm,
places that you can go into to play different games. Which, if you
true.
actually look at forms of entertainment, tickets are going up. If you're going for shows, all of
Ah,
these things, right? So when you're actually looking at affordable entertainment, most likely you can go to any of the game hubs or game centers, which are much affordable.
huh. Interesting stuff. Now, I also need to ask this because this is a foundational level, gaming 101, more or less. What
Okay.
actually motivated you to start this company? Why was it gaming? Could have been anything, but why gaming?
First of all, I love playing games.
Aha,
I
like mine.
probably I have quite a number of games on my device, but growing up it was a way for me to also connect with my dad.
Okay.
And you just notice that when you have a parent that is strict and you get that me time with them where all gloves are off, right? So
You
where
milk it.
yes, exactly. So that was one area. Then also I used to host games nights for my birthday every year, and then the year I decided not to host was in 2019. Everyone's there calling me. And then I noticed that a lot of friends, because my background in enterprise solutions, back in the day, I had like vast groups of friends from different networks, and then somehow
Okay.
they were meeting each other, building friendships. And I'm like, when someone is gisting with me, they'll be like, "Oh, this person said," I'm like, "How do you know this person?" "Oh, at your birthday." I'm like, "Okay." So when everyone called me that year, I was like, okay, if you're more interested in the games night, why don't you pay for it? And we're like, okay, I mean, let's do it. So I organized one at a particular location, cozy, really lovely, and I had 60 people actually show for it, and they paid for it.
Oh wow.
And that was how I was like, you know what, we're going to make this a thing. I also have some other experience in event production as well. I was like, okay, so why don't we look at the opportunities here? I always thought I was going to retire but with published games. Like I had a lot of games that I designed, and I thought I would give a publisher and probably earn royalties
You
from it.
even design games as well.
Yes.
That is major.
So really, that's me and games.
Wow. And I thought I loved games. Apparently, I was wrong. Okay, now, do you actually come up with the games, most of the game? I mean, apart from the games that you actually design, which I want to believe are definitely going to be incorporated into what you do. So, do you design all the games, or um, are some of the games already that we know already? And uh, does this happen at the venue where the games are hosted, or is it both? Or how does it all come together, really?
Okay, so at Zannoza, one we started as a community of people who just love playing games, but then we transitioned into the corporate space. So we used to design gamified experiences for learning, which we still do. In fact, that's our major revenue driver. We design games for learning, training, and development, skill improvement.
Okay.
We also for team bonding. And we've actually done for quite a number of organizations, very big organizations as well. We are part of the largest team building games network in the world, Catalyst Global, and
Ooh.
we have over 200 games in our portfolio. We all get to design and distribute the games that we design amongst all member countries. We have over 50 member countries there in the network as well. So yes, we design games. We also facilitate games. We had the opportunity of going for Paris Games Week with a game in beta as well, just to showcase some of the things we're trying to do with mobile. Of course, our focus right now is the corporate space,
Corporate
but we
space.
do create consumer experiences as well for events. We do game rentals, so people can rent games and create that experience. And I know
Okay.
when you mentioned, do we have the venue and all of that, we're actually opening up during Easter. We're creating a specialty game experience, but I think it's very important. I'm even surprised that we don't even have one at the moment. When we're talking about specialty, every form of experience, modern mystery parties, escape room challenges, board games library where you can come and play all the games that you want without having
Mm.
to own and buy that. So when we're talking about affordability, these are some of the things that we're mentioning: video games, VR, and all of that.
Man, that sounds like such a large library when it comes to board-esque games alone.
Yeah,
That is quite a large library, let alone video games. That sounds really, really massive.
thank you.
Okay, now businesses are your clients. So, what impact do these games have on office morale? Which I'm pretty sure for a couple of businesses now, it's not going to be up there, really.
To be honest, it's high impact. I still had a retreat yesterday. Actually, the company was celebrating 160 years, and we
160.
yes.
Ah, okay.
And we had two game sessions where wanted to drive purpose of the company, and then the other one was majorly around driving wellness, right? So we
Right.
created like a cooking game for the wellness session. And then we also had, a session as well where we infused some, arts and puzzles into creating like a big picture. So we have, a package called the big picture. So when I'm talking about that, we realized over time that actually employees don't want to sit down in trainings for long. I don't want to sit down in training for 3 hours listening to, types of communication, how to communicate with my, so if we're coming up with, communication activities, how can we ensure that we still drive the message? Because at the end of the day, it's a key learning outcome. But games allow people to get into the zone. Sometimes you even realize the process in which you are able to operate and improve your skill within what you're doing in the company.
True. Okay, before I actually move on, quick question. You mentioned for that particular session there was a cooking sort of game. Was it real cooking? Was it like real food made?
So in this, well, that was the initial plan, right? People making the food, which is so we have a game called Kitchen Ninja. That's the design of Kitchen Ninja. But then the venue that we used did not allow cooking on site.
Uh,
So because of that, and we had like a mixed crowd, foreigners, we had a mixed crowd. So we didn't want to take them out of the venue as well. So
okay.
what we did was we created like three healthy salads, parfait, and and I think we had fruit salad as well that they were supposed to make. So we provided all the things that they needed. We gave them certain kinds of the cards, the different game concepts that we infused into it that they needed to do. There was a lot of pitching, a lot of creating products, like all of those kind of things. Yeah.
If there was actual cooking involved, I definitely would not miss that sort of gathering because
I mean, we're
because
looking
why?
forward to it. Everyone was talking about the jollof rice, because some of the people coming in or that came in for the training also had never tasted jollof rice before, and they wanted to see how they could all make it together. But unfortunately,
That would have been such an amazing one. But opportunities would always show themselves. Alrighty, great conversation we're having this evening, and we're going to talk more about this about gaming, Nigeria, and of course team bonding and how often it should happen within an office space or a corporate space. I will do that on the other side of this quick breather. Don't go anywhere. Keep listening to Business Hub right here on Smooth 98.1. We'll be back in a bit. Okay, I can ask you which company was it? What
DMV,
D?
DMV. You might not know the name.
No.
Yeah, shipping and maritime. But they're not 160 years in Nigeria. I think they're about 24 years in Nigeria.
Still. No, because I've talked about business related shows. Fun fact, I don't like business talk. I dislike it a lot, especially when it comes to stock market and stuff. I don't like it. But when you're in media, you can't avoid
You
it.
can't avoid it.
And I remember I had a session where I can't remember who I was talking about, but I know we talked about businesses and longevity and how a lot of Nigerian businesses don't transcend generations.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses that you see that 100 years old, can you come? They're foreign. So when I heard 160, I was like, wait, 160? You're just a Nigerian company. That's why I said I have to ask. I have to ask the question.
But I mean, it's great. When I saw some of the things there, I was like, I mean, for you to even be 20 years in Nigeria, a foreign company
Well,
that.
maybe in the last 20 years or 20 years, right? But now, so that businesses are folding left, right,
That's
and center.
exactly.
Nah. It's scary. But I mean, what you guys do is always going to be hot tickets. Always going
Yeah,
to be
we've even
hot
had
tickets.
situations where departments are fighting each other. This person doesn't understand what this person does within the company. You just think that this person came up with the policy that is affecting you, but you don't know why the policy was created. Processes. So we've had those kind of situations, and we had to bring everybody to the table, right, and let everybody play. Because first of all, the thing that play does for you is empathy towards your teammates, right?
Mm.
I now get to understand that, of course, with the rise of hybrid and remote work, a lot of people don't even know their colleagues.
Right. There's that. There's that. It's needed sometimes. That's all
So
that's
our own direction was a bit, I mean, it became different because people look at mobile games, esports, and I'm like, you know what? Game design is first, and then look at how to distribute and how to apply.
Smooth 98.1. I like. All right, let's get back into the groove.
Okay.
Alrighty, welcome back to the second half of Business Hub right here on the Smooth Drive on Smooth 98.1, where we love music, we love life, and we're definitely loving games this evening because we're having a conversation around gaming and, of course, the gaming business in Nigeria. In this tight economic conditions, things are definitely happening. There are possibilities, people. Trust me when I say that. And I still have with me in the studio Suzan Adinoyi. She is the founder and CEO of Zannoza Entertainment Limited. And you can be a part of this conversation, this very, very interesting conversation this evening on WhatsApp. The number is 0809 440 Any questions you might have about Susan, what she does, gaming, team bonding, everything, come through and let us know what is on your mind. You can also join us on the live stream on YouTube, Smooth 981 FM Lagos. All right, Susan, let's get back into the conversation. Now, before we went on that quick breather, I was talking about companies bonding and all that. Now, in a full calendar year, how often should a company have retreats to allow staff to bond over games?
Okay, so one of the things I say is company wide. I would say 4 times a year. That's every quarter, company wide.
Okay,
But then when you also look at the different departments want to tackle different situations. You know, I mentioned while we're on the break that there are teams that are very disconnected. There are teams that, in terms of processes, they're trying to improve. You know, on that, so they have different things that they're targeting. Right? They can look at the opportunity to have those kind of gamified experiences
right.
throughout the year across different departments. Then, in terms of bonding within subgroups, business units, I usually recommend once a month.
Once a month.
Yes.
Okay, okay, good stuff, good stuff. It seems like I have a message in here on WhatsApp. Let's see here. This says, "Hi Ayo and Susan. I like Ayo. I like Ayo love food. Anyways, I'd like to ask how people can earn or make money while gaming online, if that's also what you are into." This is Timmy from Surulere.
Okay, in terms of how you can make money, it's, of course, you can make money from streaming, but then it's like every content creator, right? You have to be able to
Right.
build an audience, those people that would love to watch your streams. If you're looking at also opportunities to game as well, maybe represent a team in Nigeria, it's not so um, we don't have so many opportunities because we don't have so many tournament organizers, and a lot of organizers create like physical game challenges or competitions here in Nigeria. So
Okay.
unlike in some other developed countries where you're able to compete globally. But then of course we have FIFA hosting like their tournaments where
Right.
you
Oh,
also go through like your
right,
gameplay, so you
right,
can
right.
go through a lot of that. It's just, can the infrastructure here support your gaming, if you're going to be gaming live with people around the world. The other aspect is just considering streaming or maybe coaching somebody if you're that good.
Infrastructure. It just had to pop its head out of the hole in the ground. Okay, Susan, what's your opinion on board games and card games versus games that require electricity and electronics like televisions and your consoles, your PlayStations, Xboxes, and so on and so forth?
My opinion is very simple. It's first game design. All this board games versus video games battle. I always say something that these are forms of distribution, right? Yes, there's some games that are probably better suited as board games or card games. Of course, they all fall under the tabletop games genre. If you're looking at video games as well, we've seen games that have transitioned from board games into video games. For example, Uno. Uno is like the version of what, right?
Yeah.
There's world championship happening on the Uno app around the world, right? Esports championship around card games,
Oh, wow.
right? Somebody designed the game. So I always say that in the end, it's game design for me first. Every other forms of distribution, VR, board games, video games it's a form of distribution. Yeah,
Okay, it's a form of distribution.
yeah.
It's not one over
It's
another.
not one
One.
over another, and there are benefits to that. There are disadvantages to some. There are benefits to some others as well. So I mean, everyone has its pros and cons.
Okay. What about families? I want to believe that games are good for families, but I will let you give your expert opinion on that.
I mean, I mentioned my dad, and one of the games that we used to play drafts. I used to look forward to playing it with my dad because when we were growing up, he used to beat us. Like, it was the kind of father that had no shame. Like,
Draft
I will
champion.
beat you whether you're my child or
He was
not.
building character. That's what he was doing. Building
Oh,
character.
building character.
That's what it was.
But at the end of the day, when all of us are coming back from boarding school, and then you come back home and you play with him and you're able to beat him, there was that excitement, right? So it
Hmm.
was a time of bonding for us, and we've seen families as well. It's I mean, families that do take out the time to bond with their kids, their siblings. You can actually see the kind of connection that they have, and you can easily achieve that through games.
That is true, and I can actually speak to that because I know that my in my sister's home they play Scrabble every now and then, and it is a heated affair. You would think that the whole world is riding on that game. It's father versus daughter. I'm like, on Scrabble, what what is happening
Have
here?
you seen
But
Jigsaw Puzzle?
really, jigsaw puzzles
Yeah,
as
they're
well.
yes. I've seen I have a classmate, and she actually has like a lot of jigsaw puzzles, and she plays with her kids. They would stay there, trying to just put the puzzles together. So it's
Oh,
different kind of games, right?
right,
Different ways
right,
to
right.
bond.
And real quick, just talking about draft, I think I draft and checkers are the same thing, right?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Okay, I think it's checkers I used to play. But what I loved about draft, I never played, but I used to see some of these old men who were playing by the roadside. They used to slap the pieces. Bah, bah. That was always I was starting to look at bah, bah, bah. Like,
I
wow.
actually think those are the best draft players.
If you don't slap on the board, you don't know how to play.
You don't know how to play.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and of course, like I mentioned, like coming into our space, it's about bonding, family, and all of that. So
Mm,
those kind of things you can achieve, when you actually come to our space during Easter.
very, very important. Okay. Um, when is the best day of the week to actually host a games night? And does it differ from business to family, or it's as as required by the individuals or the groups?
So my own take, my hot take.
I love hot takes.
All right. So if you're looking at, bonding with friends, families, a lot of times you see the weekend might be more suited
Okay.
for that kind of activity, or maybe from midweek all the way to the weekend. For organizations, it's, different. There's some organizations that actually bond on weekends, but a lot of times you see that people want to have that. If you say you want to bond, don't come and take out of my free time, right? Let's bond during office hours, right? So you see, for us, a lot of times, most of the bonding for corporates happen during the week, and then for people who want to maybe host an event, bond with friends or families, you see that tending towards the end of the week towards the weekend.
Okay, but looking at business at corporates when they have these bonding sessions during the week, I mean, how effective is it? Because I mean, everybody's at work, and I'm thinking, oh, we're doing, we're bonding, but I need to finish that report for this person. I mean, how effective is it when each staff member knows I'm still in the workplace?
So it's dependent on what's your HR plans, first of all.
Okay.
A lot of times we take teams out of the office for this kind of bonding exercises.
Ah,
And if your office says, oh, let's have it in the office, sometimes they'll make it in the evening, right? So after work, you just continue into all of that. There's food, everything available for you, just to have fun, relax, chill. But then of course, if you're doing that outside of the office and your work is very integral, right? You can't just shut down the whole company. You still see a few people going back to their laptops to quickly check, what people are coming
mm-hmm.
back, but that hardly it's not as often.
All right, interesting. Now, I mean, when we talk about games, we talk about the internet, we talk about technology. I mean, we can't separate them. And of course, we need to also talk about that big white elephant in the room that we cannot ignore, and that is AI. Now, what
Okay.
exactly is your take on artificial intelligence and how it could impact games? Now, will humans, for instance, choose to interact with machines for games instead of other humans? That is something.
Okay. So, my take: we cannot run away from AI in any industry. We have to look at embracing it. I was showing you, the cube, right? It's a Rubik's cube, but then this is an IoT device. You can connect it um to the app that comes with this particular Rubik's
Oh,
cube.
an app comes with
So an
this.
app comes with it, right?
Okay.
So and as you're playing, you see the lights coming up, you see all your movements happening, right? You can learn how to play. If you've never picked up a Rubik's cube, you can learn how to play. Now this same because we actually represent them here, and
Okay.
there's also like the chess as well. They just came up with a new product for chess where you actually have robots, like robots moving the pieces of the chess.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And then the AI aspect of it, of course, these are, like I mentioned, IoT devices. They've infused AI into it in terms of gameplay. How can I improve my gameplay? So whether you're abroad, because you can play with someone outside of Nigeria right now who has this same, cube. You guys can actually connect and play together.
That
And
is so
then
awesome.
the AI part of it allows AI to learn your gameplay and play against you, so you can improve your game.
Huh.
So
Where technology is going.
yeah, in terms of AI as well for the game industry as process improvement, it's a lot. In the game development space, it's a niche community, right? People are still trying to create games, and people that have been creating games for the longest, right? To produce one game is not as easy, right?
I can
So
imagine.
I believe that AI allows us to be able to improve the process and the timeline that it takes to actually develop a game. So AI has a lot of benefits, really.
Huh, that is fantastic stuff. Okay, real quick before we round up the conversation, I also want to touch on VR. That's
Virtual
virtual
reality.
reality, and how how close are we to getting to a point where a number of people are going to, should I say, get fully sucked into that world? Because you see, so you see videos on the internet, you see people who are within that space, and they just seem to be lost within themselves. Is there a possibility that they could get lost in that world and kind of forget about reality?
Um, VR there are two sides to it, right? The way I see it, I think that there's still a lot more that needs to happen when it comes to virtual reality.
Okay.
Can you get lost in it? Looking at the device as well, after you wear it for a while, you want to, take it off after wearing it for a bit. And then the devices that we have right now, it's not like, except you're charging it while you're playing, right? There's a time frame for
Okay,
you
for
to
the
end
battery
for the
life
battery
to.
life to
Okay,
exactly.
okay, okay.
Yeah, so I still think that there's a lot of innovation that would happen in the virtual reality space. People be soaked in. Well, we've already seen, even with video games, people can stay for long.
Even our phones.
Yeah, even our
Even our
phones.
phones.
Yeah,
All
so there has to be a balance.
There has to be a balance. Alrighty, let's round up the conversation with a couple of messages coming through. Charles Chidozie says, I love football games. I dislike adventure games. They consume a lot of my time. Charles Chidozie, they're fun,
They're fun.
especially the ones that are really good.
I always say that football is not a game.
Let's not fight, Susan. Let's not fight.
Uh,
My favorite games is Four Picks One Word. Oh, I love that one. The one game I have on my phone. I'm currently on the fourth level, maintaining the top five in the world. Wow.
okay.
It's addictive and stimulates the mind. We can't stream online games in Nigeria because our power producing or generating companies go take light. In Charles Chidozie's words. Thank you for that message, Charles
Thank you for
Chidozie.
that. Yeah.
Let me see here. Tunji says, thank you so much for this. It just told me I need to be involved more with my children and my team through sports and gaming as well. Tunji, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing your message with us, Tunji. Very much appreciated. And a very, very, very big thank you to my special guest this evening in the person of Susan. Susan, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having
Susan
me.
Adinoyi, she is the founder and CEO of Zannoza Entertainment Limited. Now, where can we find you on social media to continue the fun?
All right, to continue the fun, of course, you can always find me on my own personal social media page, Suzy Swizy on Twitter,
How do you spell that?
SUZY SWIZY.
That sounds like a gaming handle.
Yeah, it is
Anyway,
a
some
gaming
gaming handle.
handle. So you can
All the
find me
more.
on that or Zanuza Official. Or if you're trying to come to our space, visit the Octagon.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for making this absolutely fun, Susan. You have brightened my day a whole lot more. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right, thank you for your messages and being a part of a Business Hub. We do this every Tuesday, 5:15 p.m. right here on the Smooth Drive on Smooth 98.1. Don't go anywhere because more great music and a whole lot more for you to sink your teeth into.
Okay.
For everything business.
And it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Business Hub on Smooth
Funny thing,
98.1.
I've never been to a game night.
Every Tuesday.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Definitely